Hello, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm mostcallmeliz. I'm here with Valkyrie of the North,
Yo,
and we're going to
what's up,
bring you
brothers?
Art of Rally Group 2. This is a speed run of like a full segment of like the first fifth of the career mode of Art of Rally. And we're going to go through the early years of rallying back when people were just buying cars just off the dealer lot and taking it straight to a rally stage. So this is going to be really exciting. And timing is going to begin when we hit begin stage here. So I'll count that down real quick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go then. Let's do
Yep.
it. Insert Chris Farley meme. I
So we're
should say, since we're just starting, there are incentives, friendos. If you donate, you can choose a car for Liz to use. I encourage you to choose the worst car.
Please don't. Please don't. Please choose Alpine, everyone. Please choose Alpine A110.
I mean, if you really want to raise money, you know, for a good cause, choose the worst car for Liz.
Well, what if we don't tell them what the worst car is?
I'm sure someone would know. There's gotta be someone. We got a lot of people here watching. I'm sure someone
Probably.
knows. And they'll be like, choose this one. They throw like 20 bucks or something. I don't know.
I mean, they're all honestly relatively balanced. It's just a matter of preference and driving style. Like, I like cars like the Alpine where the rear end likes to hang out.
Okay, I lied a little bit. There is no like worst car, but there's cars Liz isn't specifically good with. So.
Yes, I have my tastes. I have my preference. Like this Alpine A110. This is a really cool piece of history, if you ask me. Because this is, I put a custom livery on it. You can't quite see it too well because the camera's pulled so far back. But it's based on the livery that Michel Mouton ran at the 1976 Rally Monte Carlo, just a couple of years, if memory serves, before she got called up to the WRC with Audi for their Group B program. And, made history from there. And that's the first stage done already. So
Wow,
for the first year, 1971, ooh, this is Montevecchio. I thought it was a different one. Montevecchio is going to be pretty slow, but we'll roll with it. So the first year we do, 1971, is actually the last year of Group 2. And normally we do this one first because it's the only one with multiple rallies. And so, how do I want to say this? You can, whenever you select a season, whenever you select a year, it'll randomly generate. Well, I did not quite have the confidence over that jump, but that's fine.
generate what tracks you get.
Yes, it'll pick a rally for each. Like, let's say, like this one's 2 rallies by 4 stages, so it'll pick the 2 rallies you're gonna do, and then it'll pick the stages for each. And if you don't like what you get because it's really long tracks, really slow tracks that take a lot of time, you can retire from the season and no penalty other than about 10 to 15 seconds. And when you go back in, it'll generate a new set instead.
I believe the one you chose is like a double-edged sword. It can be good or bad.
Yeah, Sardinia is one of the ones where like sometimes you get a really good set of stages and sometimes you don't. So far this one's a mixed bag. I don't play Sardinia often enough to know all the pictures off the top of my head. That's what you have to do. You have to look at all the pictures on the loading screen really quick. And you have to recognize what each of those stages is and like whether or not it's like a good stage. It'll only tell you the text for the stage. It only like actually show you the name of the stage that you're actively loading into.
It's a little bit of memory.
Yeah, there's a little bit of memorization to it. Apparently,
Dev should really put the titles in there though.
Apparently, that's how it was back in the day. Back before I was playing, before I was running, and it got removed at some point. Before my time, back in the day. I'm one of those young whippersnappers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they removed it because there's an element of strategy there. Like if you can remember, I don't know. I would be curious what the decision by the devs was for that.
They probably just wanted a cleaner UI. I mean, this game is meant to be
Yeah.
pretty casual friendly, and you can take it to the level of speedrunning. You can take it to the level of pushing for leaderboard times if you want.
Yeah, it's what you want. It's what you make of it. What you seek out.
Exactly. You can have fun playing through all the career modes, through all the different groups, and then go, "Well, that was fun," and quit. You can maybe go on to get all the free roam collectibles if you want, or you can just, or you can pour hours and hours into it, hunting down leaderboard times or doing speed runs.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jenna is a pretty
lot
good
of,
one.
I think a lot of games like this sort of foster that kind of community. You know, you could, as you say, you could go extremely casual or become extremely competitive.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think is a sweet spot for a game.
Easy to learn, hard to master.
Absolutely.
And I think the speed runs themselves are like that because you don't really need insanely good top of the leaderboard driving to be competitive. Like, I find myself most of the times I post are within like the top 1% according to the leaderboards themselves. Get clutch a little bit there on the exit, get the revs up. This thing
Kinda
is naturally
smooth.
aspirated, but you wouldn't think it is based on how much it bogs down at lower RPM.
So is there a specific time you're trying to shoot for today? Or
Um,
just doing whatever?
well, my PB is a low 48. World records is a low 45. My sum of best is a low 42. Um,
Okay.
I would like to have one of the times ever. We will make it to the finish line, and then we will assess.
Yeah, makes sense. You're doing pretty good though with these turns.
Yeah, it's all about you just gotta let it flow through the corners. True in any sort of performance driving, but especially in rally where things weren't really designed for the most part, like a circuit, you know.
I mean, it really is like coloring within the line, so to speak. Whether your car is the crayon, just keep it within the track.
Yeah, so we're coming into the town here, and this is one of the hardest sections because there's a couple of
Yeah.
blind corners, like that one right there.
It's very
And when we
tight.
come into the harbor, you got to be ready to continue that left turn all the way through.
Extremely tight turning. You did well though.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm gonna be glad to get back onto the dirt here because I do not like driving on tarmac in this game. It just feels
feel
grippy in a
different?
bad way. Yeah, I mean they're all a little different.
Oh, okay.
They don't go crazy with the surface simulation like a proper rally sim because it's not a proper rally sim. You know, it's
Well, yeah,
much more.
it's a rally game, but it's more like let's strip out some of the sim elements. You know,
Yeah,
you know, we're not trying to create like Dirt 4 here or anything.
yeah, definitely not.
Or iRacing.
Air racing wouldn't know dirt racing if it hit it over the head.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
With the sim elements.
I mean, it has it in there, but nobody does it. It's a very underappreciated element of iRacing.
Yeah. I think
San
that went
Gavino.
really well.
Oh, it's San Gavino again. I didn't even realize. Okay. So the observant among you may have noticed that this is the second time we've gotten San Gavino Montreal. That's because each stage also has a reverse version, and you can play both of them in the same rally. So we're going the opposite direction we did in the first stage.
I think I think this one's in the bag, to be honest.
As far as 1971 Part 1 goes, yeah, not bad. I would have preferred not to have Montevecchio, but Montevecchio's not too bad. I don't actually even have Live Split open, so I don't really know what the time's going to look like until we're done. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to drive.
No. Just focus on your thing. I think the worst thing would be to worry about the time.
Yeah, save that for doing like grinding out proper runs, you know, staring at the numbers.
That's yeah. That's like a practice thing, you know. But like You're doing great though. This is good. And you know, I'll say it again, like I said in the beginning of this. You know, people can donate money and choose the car that they want Liz to drive. Yeah, I would highly encourage that if you want to mix it up. You know, it might be a car Liz is extremely familiar with, or it might be a car Liz isn't, and then we get to sort of have a bit of fun.
There's this vague implication that I'm familiar with anything other than the Alpine.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? I came into this knowing the historical value of this car. I'm a fan of Michelle Mouton, so I was like, oh, I'll drive the car that she drove when she was a young upstart in regional rallies. And so I kind of just stuck with it. You know, I adjusted to it really quickly, which helps. So we're going to get a quick reward screen here, and then we're going to get sent to the second part of 1971. And it's a big place where real runs die. Yes, if this was a real run, I would kill it on the spot. I would instantly reset because Japan is one of the slowest possible rallies you can get. There's only one stage that's decent in terms of the amount of time it takes, and that's Nico. I think we got it like second or third in there somewhere. There's another stage that's like not the worst option, and then the rest of them are just really bad.
Yeah, Nico could be to your advantage though as well.
It's the silver lining on this cloud. Yeah. On the bright side, the sakura trees are really pretty, so that's something.
It is very beautiful. I think the art style in this game is fantastic. It's got that minimum poly look going on, low poly, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's not too minimal. If that makes sense. It has its own identity. I guess it's what I'm trying to get at here. I've seen too many games try to emulate low poly, and it all looks the same at the end of the day, but this does stick out.
Yeah. Something I'd like to clarify, I mentioned the trick we can use to reroll rallies earlier. We can't use that for the second half of 1971 because you can only reroll entire seasons at once. So if we went back and did that, we would lose all the progress we just did on Sardinia. So that is a no-go, unfortunately, which is why this run would have just had to be reset in a real run.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of RNG to be had in this game because of the just completely random rally and stage selection. And I mean, at the end of the day, your pace on the stage does matter, but it's not everything because of that RNG. Like, the world record holder for most of the categories in this game, a guy by the name of Frankie Mikey, his best leaderboard time for Group 2 cars on Satanda is Satanda Island, which is the fastest single stage in the game, is 59 seconds or thereabouts. Well, I let it get just a little bit out of sequence there, but I pulled it back.
A nice save.
And mine is about minute 4, minute 5. So that gives you an idea of where the pace differential lies between me and world record pace. But I still have like 4th place on the SRC leaderboards, which I think, and my sum of best is like 3 minutes below the current world record for this category. So I think that tells you a lot right there.
It definitely does. I think, you know, again, I have not I played very little Art of Rally. Not to the extent you have, but I remember playing a bit of it on Game Pass. I do like the RNG aspect, though. I think that mixes up the gameplay a bit. You know, you're not getting the same set of tracks over and over. So it adds a bit of excitement, I guess, if you're doing runs and whatnot.
Yeah, there's a little part of me that wishes that we could have, like, seeded campaigns, so that, or seeded career.
Like a set amount of tracks.
Yeah, and the same rallies with the same stages in the same order. So to be a pure test of pace, but I know I would never be competitive in that because, like I just said, I'm like maybe about 105% of the top level in terms of pace.
What a nice feature to be had.
Yeah, and it does kind of exist because we have the custom rally category, where you just drive all the stages, either all the front-facing variants or all the reverse variants. in a given rally. So I mean, that's always there if I actually want to go try that.
Okay, so it's kind of there, but not there, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the competition is here in the artificial chicane there. Love to see it. Serves no purpose. Serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. You would put that in there to force the driver to slow down before an actually really dangerous corner so they don't go flying off of it. But I was already slow, and I was going to continue to be slow. Also, I just was completely scared out of that jump. But that's fine. It's more about being consistent than it is about being ridiculously fast. If you spend one stage being ridiculously fast and spend the next stage, you hit like 3 trees on the way. You know, it's not worth it.
You gotta pace yourself a bit.
Yeah, just keep a level head. It's like endurance. It's a similar concept like endurance racing, like WEC, Le Mans, all that stuff. You know, you don't necessarily need to have the fastest driver, or in that case, the fastest team of drivers. You just need to have drivers who can hold it down, if you will. And it's a similar theory here.
Well, yeah, definitely with speedruns, sometimes pacing yourself at certain points, obviously, pays off. I've seen that with, you know, speedruns of, like, Quake and Doom and whatnot.
Yeah,
certain sections you just slow down just a little bit and then pick it right back up.
Mm-hmm. And of course, with runs like that, you have sections that are, you know, a little easier and a little less technical. Need to downshift there.
True. True.
Whereas in a run like this, you're pretty much going at full beans. I think we spend less than 2 minutes in menus throughout a Group 2 run. Also, I've just realized I keep like rocking my leg up and down, but my foot is touching my desk, so my camera kept moving as a result. I'm terribly sorry if that made anyone a little motion sick.
Small, minor mistake, you know.
Minor skill issue.
Skill issue. Getting outside the road there just a little bit on that turn, I see.
Yeah, you can take a small cuts here and there. The game is not gonna punish you for a small mistake like that, but if it thinks you're actually properly trying to take a cut, it will forcibly reset you to track. And it will add 5 seconds to your... Oh, it turned in a little too much there. Scraped the inside wall. Could have been a lot worse, though.
Scraped but kept going, which is good.
Yeah, I've had bridge wall scrapes that send the car over the edge into the water. That's not good.
Oh, no.
But yeah, if the game thinks you're taking a big cut, it will forcibly reset you pretty much right away. And it'll add 5 seconds to your time. Yeah, here's Nico. This is the only fast stage in Japan. I'm going to skip repairs because we play with damage turned off. So the only thing that's actually in the repairs menu is to clean any dirt or snow accumulation off the car. Reduces drag slightly, but honestly, to my mind, not worth the time the second or two you spend menuing.
Yeah, it would kind of hinder any sort of speed run.
I don't know, some people do it. Maybe it's like a good luck charm, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a touch of personality here or there.
Yeah, it's like, do you want the car to look clean, or do you want the car to look like it got out there and did work today? Which I suppose shows...
I'd probably go with make it look dirty, but that's just me.
Same. I think the way I phrased that really showed which side of the debate I lie on.
The hottest debates imaginable.
Yes, do you clean the car or do you not clean the car?
I wonder how many people in chat who play Art of Rally clean the car.
Chat, do you clean the car? Sound off.
A tight little turn there.
Yeah, take a little bit of a late apex on a lot of these hairpins to get a better straight line speed down the straight.
Oh, somebody said they sometimes clean the car?
Yes, Cloud sometimes cleans the car.
Yeah. I figured it'd be like a do or not do sort of situation for most folks.
I know. I'm just glad we play with damage turned off. Because I mean, you already lose time when you hit something.
I think it'd be a nightmare trying to do a speed run with damage.
Oh yeah.
Like, are there people that do that?
No, the rules for all categories say damage off.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing it for fun, but
I'm just surprised there isn't like a subsection of the speedrun community of Art of Rally that are like, yeah, we do our speedruns with damage on.
now if you want something like that, there's this community called Catface. They run events in all sorts of rally games, Art of Rally included, and they always run with like master level AI and damage on. You know, they go hard.
Top tier play, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful finish.
Yeah, that's where people really go to compete, is that sort of thing.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, I'm just chilling with my speed runs, where I can drive at like 105% of leaderboard pace and come out of it pretty fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like people who play Tetris. You know, you get those folks who are like, yeah, I start on speed 10, let's go.
Yeah, you get the kind of people who like play competitive, make a living playing competitive Tetris, and then you got people who are like, what do I do with this one?
Yeah,
like
I'm
what?
I was just gonna say, in a lot of games like this, I'm more of a casual player with these things.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the whole? That was the original design intent of Tetris, was to just be like a casual thing. Didn't some Soviet computer science guy just make it to like mess around on his lunch break?
Something like that. There's a lot of stories behind it, but
yeah, now you get people who are like professionally train on hitting like T flips or whatever like 8 hours a day, and it's like, not for me, friend.
yeah. Well, I mean, not just Tetris, but like whether it's that or this game or really any other game. Yeah, I'm personally more of a casual type, but I'm always fascinated by people who do speedruns, especially if they do speedruns with no glitches. That's very impressive to me.
Yeah, that's always kind of been my thing too. I always like a run that has like little in the way of like insane tech. Like, if you're the kind of person who can like stack a 3 boxes on top of each other within 2 seconds to click to like upwarp through a ceiling and fall at a very precise angle through the level to hit some trigger early, great, more power to you. I like runs where you just focus down. What's the word I'm looking for here? You just knuckle down. You just like focus on playing the game real good, and you come out the other end, and you don't quite get turned into the turn enough. So I'm gonna have to use the handbrake.
Oh,
Stuff like that, you know? Yeah. First one was rough. Second one, I had to use the handbrake just because it was so tight.
It looks smooth though. That looks smooth.
These hairpins are so tight, and the car doesn't really want to slide on tarmac. Not to the level I wanted to, so this car is very polite on throttle. This car, like, it really doesn't care too much what you're doing with the throttle, which I like. And this is going to make this is going to sound really obvious to people who aren't familiar with performance driving, but you drive it with the steering wheel a lot, which is kind of on the contrary to how a lot of race cars work, where they're balanced on the throttle through a corner a lot. At least my driving style with like sim racing games, like Assetto Corsa or what have you. You know, balance the car on throttle a lot. But when it comes to this car, it wants to balance on its steering, and the throttle you can kind of just do whatever, which is fine. I really gel with that.
Kind of interesting tidbit right there, I must say. I didn't know that.
Yeah, just because, like, I mean, this game is very forgiving. I don't even have stability control or anti-lock braking on. Oh, hello, was that the last stage? I blanked out. Okay, so that's 1971 done. So
wow,
there's something real quick going to come up here. Because we finished the last season of the group, it's going to give us a prompt to play the next group. And we're going to have to skip it real quick. Give us a prompt to play group 3, highlight group 3 in the menu, go back to group 2, cursor disappears, click real fast. That's a really bad roll because I think the second one is Mount Kenya, and that's like a 4-minute stage, so we're going to re-roll this. We're going to save and quit to menu. We're gonna hit career, retire from season, and we're gonna try again. And we got. This is a really mixed bag, so I'm just gonna play it just to show both. So this is Indonesia. Yeah, the first one we have here is Mount Kawi, which is pretty slow. It's on the upper part of 3 minutes. But the second one is Satana Island, which is the one I mentioned earlier that is like really insanely fast, like a 1 minute stage.
Fastest track in the game, I think.
Single fastest one in the game, yes. So we're gonna roll with the punches here. We're gonna take the good with the bad.
Yeah, might as well, instead of, stressing too much about the, what you get.
Yeah, I mean, I could take it, or I could possibly spend as much as another minute and a half, 2 minutes rolling just to find something like decent that wouldn't even have lived up to this. And I just kind of have to say, well, all right then, fine, let's go with that. I hit the hay bale. Minor skill issue.
Yeah. Probably the first, like, major slowdown you've had, to be honest.
Yeah, I had a couple of, like, minor issues. And one really sketchy jump. I think towards the beginning of Japan that was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got a little,
Oh, that one was a little rough as well.
Yeah.
The rear end really started rocking back and forth for a split second. And then the suspension was like, oh, right, I can do things here.
Gotta avoid that spin out.
Yeah, the devs recently released an update. It used to be that jumps would really throw your car around. You would really have to line it up perfectly, and even then, sometimes you just get more or less randomly thrown. And it really sucked because, especially for like speed runs, where like you can be having a perfectly consistent run that's really going really well, and then you get a bad jump that throws you off the track, and you're just like, well, was kind of at no fault there. I did everything I could, and the physics engine just went, nope, not having any of that. So they've recently released an update where they added like some artificial damping to cars landing from a jump, and it is honestly so good. It feels so much better to do jumps. Also, that right there has got to be one of my favorite corners in the entire game, because you can just really stick it in over the crest, and because and then the road comes up to meet you, and the compression effect is really strong in this game, so the car just sticks. Okay.
A little wobbly.
Here I was, like, they added damping to jumps, and not doing a good job of demonstrating it, I guess.
Yeah. Minor skill issue, friend. You're doing great.
Yeah, minor skill issue. Minor skill issue from the physics engine. You can see the compression effect really kicking in there. I was able to just keep my foot planted through that corner, just steer in, and the car just went whoop, up the hill.
Kind of like I guess if you're a silly analogy, if you will, the track's a water slide and you're the water.
To an extent, yes.
Yeah.
You have to be like water.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Held the gear there just to keep the slide from drifting out any further.
Yeah, it looked good to me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's just it's a little counterintuitive sometimes, you know. You might think, oh, if you shift up, you go faster, but you also go more out. Oh, I over-revved it a little on the start there. Didn't want to spin the wheels that much.
Slightly rough.
A little rough.
I love how the little 3D crowd always runs out to the car and then runs away.
Yeah, I was gonna say they do like the Midtown Madness thing a little bit, where they just like magically get out of the way every time. Oh, I'm gonna fall off the cliff. Oh, I did not fall off the cliff. Saved.
Wow.
Saved.
Wow. Good save there, but oof, that was
yeah, that was a little much.
That would have been the biggest oof imaginable. Good save though. Oh my god, let's go. I heckin' love Art of Rally. I know, right?
You and me both.
I like I said, I'm not, admittedly, I'm not super familiar, but I have watched Liz play before, and Liz does fairly well, you know.
Yeah, I like to think I do okay. That was not my best Atonda by any means. That was a couple seconds off my best in that direction, but I'll take it.
I think it was because you almost went off the cliff.
Yeah, going off the cliff a little bit. Didn't really
then
get the
having to
most out of the
recover.
rest of it, but yeah, that was kind of the big one. The start was a little slow as well. So that's 1967 done already because it was just one rally times 2 stages. So we're gonna go to 1968. This is a really, really good 1968. This is Lasilla into Numarku. I don't know if we have any Finns in there who can in the chat who can correct me on my pronunciation here. I probably really screwed it. I'm very sorry. But yes, both of these are very, very quick. Lasilla is under 2 minutes, and Numarku is like a minute 30. And they're both really fun. Lasilla is difficult. Not Lasilla, sorry. Numarku is difficult. Lasilla is just technical, if you will. It's short, but it's very technical. You get a lot of like weaving through trees and stuff, basically.
I believe I did watch you play this the other day.
Yeah, when we were doing the dry run.
Yeah, the dry run. And you were showing off some of the neat stuff you could do with trees, but it's really risky.
That was in Laupstad in Norway.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yes, if we see that in the run, it'll be... And we get the correct direction. That'll be fun to show off. You can go like right between 2 trees to save a little bit of time. But I mean, it's risky because you have to go right between 2 trees, and also there is a soft kill that resets you to the track if you hit it, so you have to be pretty careful.
It's sort of a risk-reward thing.
Yeah. I mean, we timed this run in real time anyways, so getting the 5-second penalty for resetting isn't that bad. It's just like the actual time it takes to reset. I've had times where like I hit something and flip and go off the track, and blind right corner there. Don't let it fool you. And then like the reset is actually pretty advantageous because it puts me a little ways up the road and kind of nullifies the time I would have lost.
I think he did fairly well on that.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
That particular track.
Yeah, here's Numarku. This one's difficult. We just get this little tiny tarmac stint here, and it's gravel the rest of the way down.
I think that's the tightest thing you've done.
Yeah, Numarku is one that I spent like 5 minutes leaderboard hunting, so saved.
Ooh, that rock.
It could have spun me around facing backwards. That wouldn't have been great, but
no.
Yeah, Numarku is one I spent a little bit of time leaderboard hunting. Really dangerous jump. You do not want to go too fast. You're just gonna smack straight into that log pile right there. I spent a little bit of time leaderboard hunting it, so I know a couple different lines from watching the ghosts of the top players. But yeah, I try not to go too crazy during speed runs, because like you don't need to be driving at that sort of really crazy pace. I leaned into the compression a little too much there, and it actually threw me much further out to the left.
And very, very tight turns on this track.
Yeah, it's a very technical one, and you get to weave between the log piles and the log truck over there. Oh, come on, Sonny. I almost let it get away from me a little bit there.
Hanging on to the track pretty well, though, overall.
Yeah.
I would say.
And that's 1968 done, because that was also 1x2. So next up is 1969, which is 1x3. And then the last one is 1970, which is 1x4. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got Palace, Numarku, Palace again. That's pretty good. Palace is not the fastest stage in Finland, but it's pretty respectable. And we just did Numarku, and we saw how fast that was.
Again, could definitely with that sort of RNG, it's definitely to your benefit regarding
Yeah,
time.
this is really good. I would absolutely sorry, I would absolutely play this if it came up at any point in a run, in a a real proper run, not like an exhibition run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was just grinding runs.
Yep, definitely.
I probably could have done that a little better. That was a little rough, but it didn't hit the fence, so.
Yeah, it also saves you having to like re-roll, how many times,
Yeah, and you lose time every reroll. They're not free, because it's RTA.
Yeah. Staying within the track very well.
Yep, just keeping it clean, keeping it consistent. Hey, we've been checking on the incentives for causing me to switch cars.
Let me have a look here. Refresh the page. Nothing yet, but once again, I would encourage people to, if you want Liz to have to change the car, whichever car you wish. I think the donation is any amount. Ooh, hit that grass.
Okay, that could have been worse. Yeah, a little bit of a bad jump there. One side of the rear end landed before the other, and that just caused the whole thing to go crazy.
But as I was saying, I think it's set to donate any amount. I'm not seeing anything specific on the incentives, but you could simply donate and choose a car for Liz to drive.
Yeah, we'll keep up on
So
which ones.
You wanna mix it up a bit? There you go.
Yeah. We can change between seasons, so we got one more opportunity to change what car I drive for the last season, I guess.
Yeah, I should have stated that. It has to be between seasons. Not
Yeah.
season.
Can't change cars mid-season like a real privateer team.
No.
Or manufacturer backed.
I like how all these trees look like toothpicks.
Yeah, these trees have seen better days for sure.
Nice little touch there. Yeah, that grass spot was pretty rough.
Yeah, it was the jump. The jump did me dirty. The damping update was good, but it didn't fix everything. You still have to drive well, and that's always my major issue. Alright, I'm gonna use a leaderboard line here. Go out in the wheat a little bit.
And regarding the incentives, I hear Liz is a big fan of the Mini Cooper.
You stop that right now.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's a good charity going on here.
It's for charity. It's for charity.
I'm sure someone wants to see you drive that Mini Cooper you love so much.
It is a really significant piece of history in rallying, in all sorts of motorsport, honestly. It just kind of rocked up and dominated every single category of motorsport for years when it was first introduced. And even, old minis are still raced today. You have like the Mini Challenge Cup, which is like a support series for the British Touring Car Championship. And those things, they go crazy. It's kind of like how there are guys down in Brazil who still race old like Mark I Volkswagen Beetles. And those are some proper antiques.
Yeah, it's like an enthusiast level thing.
Yeah, that's where like a young upstart driver might gather themselves some attention, I'm sure you also have some gentleman drivers in there, but you prove you can drive a Mini, you prove you can drive a touring car, Because a Mini, and a touring car are like not that different at the end of the day.
Kind of like so would you say it's like a beginner?
Yeah, that's something that the beginner could be pretty good at.
Yeah, you could break into the racing scene.
I've seen total beginners drive way more intense cars than that. Like for example, there's this. That was a little risky.
Wow.
That did put the fear in me a little bit. Yeah, there's this guy named Swelio Almeida. He's usually does sim racing, but lately he's been posting some videos of his races in a Formula Inter series. And you know, that's a proper like open wheel race car, you know, like that's a race car. That's not something that someone like brought up to the level of a race car. That thing's like a purpose-built racing machine, you know, and he handles it pretty well. I mean, which I suppose speaks to how sim racing can teach you a lot of skills that you can then apply in a real race car.
Definitely. I mean, you gotta start somewhere, so.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good place for a lot of people to start, because, you know, not everybody is best friends with their dad, who happens to be an investment banker with like $200,000 laying around to fund their kid getting into like a drive in a GT car for a season.
Yeah,
You know?
it is quite the expensive endeavor, for sure.
Yeah, it's never cheap, but you know, if you can show a lot of merit in sim racing, you might get some tests, and if you show good merit in the tests, you might be able to get some sponsors, and if you can get some sponsors, you might just be able to get yourself a race seat. It's strange. Racing is so strange because it's a job that you pay to have a lot of the time, which is why we see so many like gentleman drivers, for example, especially in like things like endurance racing, where, you know, their skill is not exactly exceptional, but they bring a lot of money to the team that the team needs to run so that they can also have a couple drivers who are, you know, they're more on merit, if you will.
Definitely.
I mean, we see this in like even as high as like Formula One. Like Nicholas Latifi was something of a paid driver. Nikita Mazepin was something of a paid driver before events transpired.
Yeah. Now
You know,
you're
Lance Stroll.
bit above my expertise now.
Yeah, Lance Stroll has the second Aston Martin seat because his dad bankrolls the team front to back and sideways. Anyways, that's 1969 done. And here's the last one, 1970. We are going to re-roll this immediately. Do not want to do Japan.
Yeah, Japan's a bit rough.
Japan, it's hard to find a good Japan. This is really good.
Nice.
Vestpolen, double Stronstad into the last one might be Kavan Kyosen.
I think you got this one. Definitely.
Yeah, Norway's one of my favorites because it has a lot of snow, and snow is probably my favorite surface to drive in the game. I just like the way it feels. I know it's like probably the slowest because, you know, tires just don't grip very well on snow. It's just a fact.
But for you, it feels good.
It just feels good. It serves no practical benefit. I just think it's neat. Is that how the Marge Simpson line goes?
I just think it's neat.
I just think it's neat.
Insert GIF here.
Yes.
It's kind of, you know, that's how it goes.
I'm gonna back off a little bit on this jump just to make sure I can get the line up for the turn.
I think the turns are going a lot better than some of the tracks on Finland.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it. I'm sorry, friend. Very nice drift.
Yep, got to manage the gearing quite a lot through there.
It's like smooth like butter, you know?
Yeah. Got a little bit out of sequence there, but managed to recover it okay. And hit the drift. Always hit the drift at the end of at that end of Vestpolen. Just make it look good. Yes, this is double Stronstad. This is really good. Is this the Dorito one? Yeah, beware of Doritos.
I
Boosted a
think,
little
what
too
were the
much there.
Doritos again? You explained it to me, but I forgot what the Doritos
No, I'm just joking about the crossbar over the road here. Look at this one. Has a little like tortilla chip looking thing. Kind of looks like a
were.
Dorito.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I remember you explained that to me before, but I forgot.
Yeah, Strongstad's a fun one because it's just a pretty tight, technical snow track, and there's a lot of places where you just have to have the confidence. There's this one particular corner where there's always a lot of pedestrians, a lot of spectators, and you really have to have the confidence because it's a little bit blind, but it's an easier turn to make than you think.
You make it look so easy.
Yeah, that's what a lot of practice does, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't actually know off the.
I was gonna say if I tried this, I'd be all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I was all over the place the first couple times, you know, and then you get the hang of it.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, you can turn assists on. I speak very good English. I mean, the game is meant to be forgiving and accessible, you know? There's one of the corners where you have to have a lot of confidence. I believe the one with the pedestrians, yep, it's right here. So we're going to watch out for the hay bale there, but then we're going to not turn in too hard, and we're just going to go straight on. I could have done that a lot better if I didn't turn in too early and put myself at risk of hitting the hay bale if I didn't correct.
You did glide fairly well, though. Or drift, rather.
Yeah. And so now, because the next one we have is the other direction of this, we're just basically going to get the car turned around and go do that again.
And I mean, you know the track fairly well, so...
Yeah, you could say I'm warm on it.
Yeah, to your benefit. Let's have a look at the incentives here.
Bit late.
No, nothing yet.
Oh, I clipped the hay bale.
Oh,
That's okay. That's not too bad. It just slowed the car down a little bit. Could have sent the car like really spinning, which would have been decidedly unpleasant.
Could have killed the run.
Nah, you wouldn't kill a run for that sort of thing. I mean, if you were riding on the margin of like a PB this late and you did that, and then you saw that it was kind of like gonna ruin your chances, maybe you'd kill it. No, personally, I wouldn't. I get this far, I like to see it through to the end, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I usually keep track of my my reset chance on live split, and I'm pretty sure that by the time I hit 69, I have a 0% reset chance. I've never reset when I'm that far, since I started keeping track, at least.
That's fairly good.
Mama didn't raise, no quitter. At least once I get past 71, because like 71 stage 1 has like an 80% reset chance, which basically implies that 80% of the time when I roll the very first rally of the run, it's not playable and I just immediately reset. Which I think, once again, goes to show how much RNG is present when it comes to selecting rallies and stages in this game.
Yeah, and you know, as I commented on earlier, I think RNG adds a lot to this game.
I mean, yeah, but sometimes you just
nice.
want to, yeah, go right over the timing board. Oh, this is Laupstad. Okay, this is not Kavan kills. This has the Laupstad death jump, which we get to show right at the end.
Yeah, that was a great ending. The car's like lifting up.
So there's a particular jump on this track that used to be really dangerous before the damping update, and it's still a little risky these days, but it's not so bad. I call it the Laupstad death jump because it has killed a lot of runs before.
Oh, yeah.
Had a lot of runs that already weren't going like the greatest, and then I screw up that jump, and it's kind of like, well, might as well just call it here. Also, I don't know if we're going in the right direction for the little tree skip. No, we're not going in the right direction for the tree skip. Here's that jump. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, that could have been worse.
Not too bad. Not too bad, alright.
I tried to J-turn it right in the middle, and the car just kept going like, we're not J-turning. I'm just going around the front.
In a way, like, it slightly slowed you down, but you just kept going. You just, like, rolled with it.
More or less, yeah. Yeah.
I,
So
I,
what
I was gonna say,
really?
I was gonna say, I think we all believe in you with that jump.
Yeah. Yeah. What really did me dirty there was there's a little when you go in this direction, there's a little bit of compression right before the jump, and it can really catch you out if you put your steering over too hard. And I did. I was able to correct it pretty quickly, but still, I wasn't really stabilized by the time I hit the jump. Just had to make it look cool, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Did it for the
like I
fans.
said, when you hit it, you spun a bit, but just kept going. So that was, kind of a smooth transition, whether it was intentional or not.
Yeah. So we're coming up on the very end of the last stage here, and we're going to be calling time when we fade back to the season selection screen. I should not have clicked the inside of that corner. Okay. And then I assumed I was going to have to J-turn it, so I went into reverse, but I did not have to J-turn it.
It's a slight bump. A skill issue.
Minor skill issue, yes, minor skill issue. Do a little two-wheel at the end, just for fun. All right, so once we finish the last bubble on the bottom of the of this screen, we'll be calling time. So get ready.
All right.
And time.
You asking me about the time?
No, for the tech.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that is all 5 seasons of Group 2 done.
Overall, fairly well.
Yeah.
33.
50-33? Okay, that's only a couple minutes off my PB. I'm pretty happy with that. That's solid. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, so that's been Art of Rally, and I mean that's certainly not all there is in terms of running this game. Like you have the sorry, you have the higher groups, you have the free roam collectibles. You can try for leaderboard times on individual stages. There's a lot to dig into in this game, and you don't really need to know any crazy tech to post competitive times. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun and a really accessible run as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun just sitting here chilling and commentating.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for having us, Indiethon.
Thank you.
Hey, where'd the tech go?